Minyu casually replied, who knows, then he made a sharp turn of the steering wheel. She couldn't help but regret, it's a pity he's abroad, otherwise we could have discussed this. Suddenly remembering her task, Huo Yao rolled up her sleeves and encouraged herself, let's get to work and make this thing quickly. The cars behind were in chaos, seeing this. Huo Yao thought, this guy's driving skills are amazing. Minyu turned his head and asked him, are you scared him? A bit scary, Huo Yao continued to pretend, hurry up. The cars behind are catching up again, it's fine, someone will clean up. Minyu said, let's go, I'll take you home first. After dropping off Huo Yao, Minyu called Yang Yi, who came tonight. Yang Yi said, when we chased after them, suddenly a group of people appeared and caused trouble, we lost them. I guess it's still about that batch of weapons. Tomorrow you deliver that batch of weapons to Minister Minimum after all, we are citizens of the country and need protection. On the other side at Song's mansion, strangers broke into Songji's villa. Songji looked at the intruder in fear. Do you know who I am? If you dare touch a hair on my head, the Song family won't let you off. HMPH, who does the Song family think they are? I can crush countless pieces of trash like you every day. The intruder raised a baseball bat. Today is just a warning, don't easily provoke people you shouldn't. After the lesson, Chang Ming got in the car and took off his mask. The young Mrs. Campus life should be peaceful for a while. The next day, teacher Huo Yao came to Lukian's office. Speaking of him, here he comes. Lukian stood up and introduced, this is Xiao Huo, though he's only a freshman. His data calculation ability is very strong. Our experimental funding application has been approved. Carefully measuring ingredients, not a gram more or less, simmering over low heat, not a second more or less. Really, that's great, teacher, this time our experimental group will definitely strive to achieve good results. Huo Yao was puzzled, excuse me, what experimental group? Junior, didn't Professor Liu tell you about forming an experimental group in our major? Hasn't he mentioned this research project to you at this moment? Liu Kaiyan received a phone call. Hello, Professor Zhao, what's the matter? Oh, you say it's nothing. Junior, if you have any questions later, just come ask us, we're all in the same major. We're our own people, the seniors said enthusiastically. Professor Zhao, who was just walking in, saw this scene and nodded silently. This is the atmosphere that academic work should have. It wasn't in vain that I kept an eye on Kai Wei, not letting him make any small moves in front of Liu Yuan. The future of the information science major now depends on their own efforts. In the evening, Hu Yao was on a video call with Lei Xiao, studying their previous analysis. They were so focused that they didn't realize Min Yu was beside them, feeding Hu Yao fruit piece by piece. On the other side, Lei Xiao saw this scene and instantly turned sour. Can't these two consider the feelings of a single person? It's bad enough to have your intelligence crushed by experts all night, but to also be force-fed dog food. Too much. When the video call ended, Huo Yao finally noticed Min Yu beside him. When did this person arrive? Are you done? Min Yu asked him. Huo Yao covered his face. After carefully refining it all night, it was finally done before dawn. Huo Yao stretched contentedly. Pretty much, Huo Yao put away his files, preparing to say goodbye to Min Yu. I'll be going then, wait a moment. Min Yu turned to Huo Yao and said, I'll walk you out. Min Yu's phone rang. Who are you talking to? Your tone is so sweet. I'm not used to it. Min Yu glanced at Huo Yao and said to the phone, oh, girlfriend, the person on the phone didn't believe it. Didn't you say before that she wasn't interested in you? You're just bragging, it'll happen eventually, I've got to go. Bye. Huo Yao was so embarrassed he didn't know what to do. In his heart he grumbled, I'd pay a fortune for ears that haven't heard these words. Min Yu took her bag, let's go, I'll take you home. The two walked in silence. The next morning, seeing Yuan's eye different from usual, Huo Yao asked her what was wrong. You seem down today. Yuan's eye was hesitating in her heart. How should I warn Sister Yao to be careful of Yuan Huan? My big brother clearly isn't interested in women, but people he sets his eyes on always disappear without a trace. Yuan's eye spoke up, the security hasn't been good lately. Sister Yao, since you don't live on campus, please be careful when you come and go every day. Huo Yao thought, why do people keep reminding me to be careful lately? Then she couldn't help but complain. If it weren't for returning a favor, I wouldn't bother making such a troublesome thing. Afterwards, she rested briefly and directly contacted Miu. Are you free tomorrow? I have something for you. I got it, I'm heading to the lab now. Huo Yao said. Huo Yao arrived at the classroom. Liu Kaiyan introduced him. This is our new instructor, Professor Yuan Huan. He will join our experimental group to assist everyone in researching eye systems. I'm Yuan Huan, looking forward to working with you all. Everyone applauded and welcome. All right, familiarize yourselves with the equipment first. I'll discuss the research plan with Professor Yuan, the senior student advised Hu Yao. Biocomputers are a bit different from regular computers. Take your time to get used to it. Don't rush and don't feel pressured. Hu Yao nodded. Actually, there wasn't much pressure. In his mind, he was thinking which plan could both win the high prize money and not expose my true abilities. Well, better start working. Seeing him dive right in, Wang Jing thought, the junior really isn't familiar with computer operations, but then she gasped and the other two stood up asking what's wrong. The three watched Huo Yao's operations in shock, not to mention the speed. He could use it directly without simulated calculations. Is this something a human brain can do? Does he have a computer in his head? After a while, Liu Kaiyan returned and saw the students working with unprecedented effort. Why do they all suddenly look like they've been injected with chicken blood? Yuan Huan noticed that the three seemed to have been influenced by him. Seeing Hu Yao's operation steps were concise and his logical thinking highly expansive. It was a new calculation method. Liu Kaiyan said to Yuan Huan, Professor Yuan, don't look down on little Yao just because he's a freshman. He's a real treasure. The next day they met at a tea house. As soon as he entered, Hu Yao smelled a familiar sandalwood scent, similar to the one in Yu Yao Jai. The student is indeed a treasure, Yuan Huan thought, but this time I'm personally involved. He better not disappoint me. After class, Minyu came to pick up Yao as he was getting in the car. Minyu was on the phone. I just picked him up. What's the matter? Just say it, the voice on the other end said, Director Min, we're having network issues here. I wanted to ask for his help. I just sent him a message, but he didn't reply. Can you ask him? Then he turned to Hu Yao. Yao, you should be free tonight, right? Yes, we'll be there in 40 minutes. After hanging up, Min Yu said to Hu Yao, can you do me a favor? Before Hu Yao could speak, Min Yu added, there's payment. Hu Yao smiled, no need for that. What do you need help with? I need you to fix a network issue. Half an hour later, Hu Yao looked at the words National Security Department in front of him. Coming here to fix a network issue, the National Security Department. Is this a place where an ordinary citizen like me can easily enter? Let's go. Yang Yi is here to meet us. The three arrived at the network control center. Brother Yu, Miss Huo, we're here, technician Xiao Zhao said. Yang Master Min, Mr. Yang, has the expert you mentioned arrived? This is Min Yu, he introduced. This expert seems too young, doesn't he? But then again, Yang Master Min isn't one to joke about such matters. Xiao Zhao spoke directly. I'll get straight to the point. Right now, our network is continuously under virus attack. We can't repair the programs fast enough to keep up with the damage. Min Yu said to Hu Yao, don't put too much pressure on yourself, just do your best. It's fine, I'll treat it as practice. Xiao Zhao thought to himself. According to the law, people who speak so arrogantly usually end up embarrassed. At this time, Min Yu was sitting at the tea table and calmly said, you're here. Sit down and try this famous Westlake Longjing tea. Looking at Huo Yao again, he thought, this is an ordinary network repair. Then Min Yu spoke. If she can't do it, there's no one else in the country who can solve it. Soon voices of other colleagues came. Network port A is fixed, port B is also done. Port C is almost there. Then Huo Yao spoke. Why don't you fix the firewall first? Patching so many holes is useless without it. Xiao Zhao weakly said, it's not that we don't want to fix the firewall, but we can't even access it. Huo Yao smiled confidently. I'll make you a more advanced firewall. Yes, 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 thank you, Master. Min Yu received a phone call. He turned to Hao and said, I need to meet someone now. Wait for me here, Hao waved, go ahead. Xiao Zhao asked, Master Huo, can you help us trace the source IP of this network attack? It's all solved. Check for any issues yourselves and let me know. I'm going to the restroom first. Xiao Zhao looked at the imp. What's this about? Yang Yi interrupted him. Miss Huo, I'll show you to the restroom. As he waited for Huo Yao, Yang Yi thought, if that imp location is discovered, certain people might get restless. Huo Yao picked up the teacup, took a gentle sniff, and then sipped a little. He couldn't help but praise. The tea is rich and mellow, smooth and lingering in the mouth. It's truly excellent tea. Liu asked, I heard you participated in an international competition. Huo Yao, holding the teacup, curiously said, did the old lady gossip with you again? Perhaps I shouldn't have let the boss bring Miss Hugh here. As he was thinking, several people approached Yang Yi. Team leader Li Yao, what are you trying to do? Yang Yi asked the leader. Mr. Yang, these are orders from above for the safety of young Master Min's friend. It's just a routine procedure. Yang Yi replied, Team leader Liao, I advise you not to touch young Master Min's people. Young Master Min's friend is now involved in confidential matters concerning national security. I can only follow the rules. Yang Yi frowned. These people really leave no stone unturned. Li Yu, however, answered irrelevantly, after all, I'm your tutor, I should make some contribution. Their daughter, lost for 17 years, came home today. Apart from guilt, they only wanted to make up for lost time. Mom decorated a special room for her daughter and a whole wardrobe of new clothes. Jiu Yao quickly said, Stop it, as long as you make the old lady happy. That's enough contribution. Li Yu smiled happily upon hearing this. Just then, the assistant beside them choked on tea and started coughing. Huo Yao looked confused. The assistant thought to himself, Master, are you still that cold and aloof young master? How dare you actually agree to someone's request? Huo Yao took out the refined item and placed it on the tea table, saying, By the way, this incense should help you. I noticed you weren't in good condition before. Consider it a thank you for taking care of my grandmother. Then Huo Yao stood up and said, The tea is good, thanks for the treat. If there's nothing else, I won't take up more of your time. He was about to turn and leave when Li Yu stood up and called out. Wait a moment, then he handed him a box of tea leaves. Finish this tea before asking me for more. Huo Yao didn't refuse and stammered, Well, thank you then. At this time, the assistant started complaining again. What a loss, they give you a box of incense, and you give them a box of limited edition tea in return. After Huo Yao left, the assistant couldn't hold back anymore. Master, I just don't understand. What's so good about him that makes you care for him so much? Minyu thoughtfully said, A year ago he saved me. The assistant was even more confused. How could a young girl like him save you? Minyu, while opening the gift box, said, That's something I still haven't figured out. At this time, the fragrance that spread out made Minyu feel refreshed. This scent seems like sandalwood, but it's a bit different. Little did he know, this was actually top-grade calming incense made from hundreds of thousands worth of medicinal materials. Dad learned that his daughter got into #1 high school. The calming incense made by a 17-year-old girl was praised by both national treasures and senior traditional Chinese medicine doctors. As the manager of Yu Yaojai, he was a prominent figure in the Chinese medicine world. He just took a sniff and excitedly said, This is the real common incense. The person who made this must be a genius. He sniffed carefully again and admiringly said, Marvelous, truly exquisite. The few herbs used in this common incense are all targeted at your physical condition. Herbs like Wu Weizi and Bai Jia Shang are potent if you were to decoct them directly. Your body certainly couldn't handle it, but now they've been ground into powder and mixed with sandalwood for external use. Not only does it not harm the body, but the medicinal properties are also maximized. This is calming incense specially formulated for you by a master of medicine. The more Pei Lao spoke, the more he admired it. He wanted to meet this top expert. So he said, Young Master Yin, could you introduce this master to me? Li Yu awkwardly said, To be honest, this was given by a friend, but I can assure you they're not someone who understands pharmacology. At this moment, Pei Lao suddenly remembered the young girl who bought these exact herbs a few days ago, but this must be a coincidence, right? The assistant beside them excitedly asked Old Pei, Do you mean that if my master uses this incense, he can cure his body? Pei Lao shook his head helplessly. Although the musk is useful, it's only for conditioning. It can't completely cure the root cause. Then Pei Lao added, However, this box of incense can last at least half a year. During this time, I will do my best to find a cure. Men Yu felt relieved upon hearing this and bowed to Pei Lao. After expressing his gratitude, he left. On the way home, the assistant curiously said, I wonder where Miss Huo got this kind of incense. It's amazing. Minyu thoughtfully speculated, perhaps it's someone she knows, but to have such high-level friends itself is not simple, right? Then Minyu teased, Do you still think we've suffered a big loss? The assistant looked embarrassed but thought to himself, not only is it not a loss, it's a huge gain. This is worth much more than tea leaves. Then the assistant said with a grin, Master, I remember you still have some rare De Hong Pao tea. Why don't I send some to Miss Huo? He gave her a card to use freely with no limit, though the family wasn't wealthy. Minyu was quite exasperated by her fickle attitude. Meanwhile, Huo Yao was sitting idly in the classroom, pretending to study Chinese seriously while actually fighting drowsiness. Then someone shouted, "Quick, go check the notice board, the results are out." Subsequently, everyone crowded around the notice board. The first place in the school was officially announced. The students began to discuss. "I can't believe Ye Lian Fan, who has been the top student for years, was surpassed by this transfer student. I heard his Chinese score didn't even pass. Does that mean he got full marks in all other subjects? That's too abnormal." Meanwhile, Lu Shan in the crowd seemed to have lost his shine. He secretly complained, "It's Huo Yao again. Why has everything changed since he came?" So he secretly decided that although he had lost the monthly exam, he must win the national knowledge competition. Can you believe that this pure and otherworldly girl is actually a high-end green tea bitch? Big Brother, seeing this uninvited video, said in a flat tone, "Why did you suddenly come to my place today? Don't you have class in the afternoon?" Lu Sha slowly took off her sunglasses and pretended to be weak as she said, "I took leave for the last self-study period. I originally wanted to invite second brother for dinner, but he didn't answer my calls. I don't know if he's busy." Then, changing the subject, she said, "We haven't gathered together for a long time. Why don't you call him and invite him?" Big Brother, look at how she's constantly playing mind games. At this moment, the eldest brother remembered that last time. Because of his words, he misunderstood Wu Yao. The second brother's words left a deep impression on him. "Yao Yao is your blood-related sister," so he said, "I see he's been quite busy lately. Let's forget it for now, we'll talk about it later." Hearing the eldest brother's response, Luzia's hand holding the water cup suddenly tightened. She said disappointedly, "Okay, I guess that's how it has to be." Then with an innocent face, she said, "I'm just a bit worried. Because of what happened last time, Yao Yao doesn't want to talk to me anymore. Today, the second brother didn't answer my call either. I'm afraid he has misunderstood me after hearing this." The eldest brother said seriously, "You're overthinking. Ping Rui is not someone who can be easily provoked. Besides, Yao Yao is not the kind of person who would speak carelessly. Dad wouldn't let her suffer at school." Liu Zia felt slightly relieved after hearing this, but the eldest brother then said, "You sit here for a while. I have some work to deal with." Saying this, he turned and left. At this moment, Lu Sha was extremely disappointed. Why did it seem like everything was out of control? It felt terrible. On the other side, the assistant told who owed Ting Rui. There was a private call during the court session. He took the phone and saw it was from Lu Sha, just as he was wondering why Lu Sha was calling him. His eldest brother Huo Yangxi called. "Hello, big brother. What's the matter? I just finished the court session. I saw a missed call from Lu Sha but hadn't had time to call back when you called." But the eldest brother inexplicably asked Ting Ruhai, "Has Yao Yao mentioned Sha Sha to you?" Ting Ruhai said, "No, she hasn't. What's wrong?" Huo Yanzai explained, "It's nothing. Sha Sha came to see me earlier. She wanted to invite you for dinner, but I was busy, so she left." After hearing this, Huo Ting Ruhai said, "All right, you go ahead with your work." After hanging up the phone, Huo Ting Ruhai was confused. What was the purpose of his big brother's call? On the other end, Huo Yanzai looked relaxed. He had been a bit worried about what Lucia said, but it seems he was overthinking. It turns out trusting the second brother and Wu Yang was right. Look at how thoughtful their assistant is just because the master might need it. He bought out an entire store's stock of calming incense. It wasn't expensive anyway, and the store owner even gave him a buy one get one free deal because he was buying so much. Such approachable birth parents would make one doubt their life in surprise. Is this the legendary poor family? A black card at hand and spend as you like on their lips. This is even more outrageous than if I had time traveled here. It turns out that the calming incense Wu Yao gave to Min Yu worked incredibly well. So they looked up the same packaging wooden box online, and the store mainly sold calming incense. Just as Min Yu was contacting Huo Yao to confirm if it was the right one, the assistant had already placed the order. At the same time, Huo Yao sent a message saying it wasn't. Min Yu looked embarrassed and immediately turned to the assistant, saying, "You've already placed the order." The assistant proudly said, "Of course, when the master needs something, it must be arranged immediately." Li Yu really didn't want to say another word to him. "Have someone express deliver the old man's box of De Hong Pao? We need it the day after tomorrow." The assistant was startled and quickly said, "Don't you have a few boxes of the collector's edition? Why are you eyeing the old master's treasured box? He's been treasuring it for decades. If he finds out, won't he be furious?" Li Yu said with a determined face, "Then we won't let him know. If it's been treasured for decades, it wouldn't hurt to treasure it for a few more decades." The assistant was so shocked his jaw dropped. But he didn't forget to praise his master. You're still the best. I'll arrange for someone to go right away. Li Yu nodded without changing his expression, but the assistant felt something was off. Meanwhile, Hu Yao called her second brother to come home for dinner, but he told her he had to go on an urgent business trip for a few days. Hu Yao clearly sensed that her second brother was in a bad mood, so she asked with concern, "Did something happen?" But her second brother reassured her, "It's nothing, don't worry, little sister." Despite saying this, he was anxiously rushing to the airport. After the plane landed, he was already abroad. The third brother, Hu Zhang's assistant, was waiting at the arrival gate. Seeing the second brother, he politely said, "I'm sorry for the trouble of making you come all this way." Hu Tinguri anxiously asked, "It's fine. How is Hu Xing now?" The assistant's expression fell at this moment and he stammered, "He's not doing well." At this moment, his hands unconsciously gripped the railing tightly. It seems Hu Xing was in trouble. Then the assistant took him to an estate. The one who came out to greet them was the third brother, Hu Yulin, who was permanently based abroad. The next day after Hu Yao returned from his morning run, Mom immediately came up and said, "Baby's back, sit down and rest." He said a bit nervously, "Second brother, I'm sorry I couldn't come to pick you up personally earlier because I had something to attend to." The second brother quickly stepped forward and hugged his brother whom he hadn't seen for a long time, saying emotionally, "Seeing that you're living well makes me very happy as an internationally renowned medical genius." The third brother was not good at expressing himself in daily life. The second brother knew this well, so he asked directly, "Can Hu Zhang's injury really not be fully healed?" When it came to discussing the medical condition, Hu Yulin immediately became confident. He said firmly, "Full recovery is not a problem. It's just that he can't engage in strenuous exercise anymore and must say goodbye to the stage." But he's not cooperating at all. After hearing this, Hu Tinguri said thoughtfully, "I understand, I'll go talk to him." But both the assistant and Hu Xian himself knew well that without Hu Yulin, Hu Xian would definitely be finished this time. But doesn't Hu Xian want to give up his stage? He was born to be a king of the stage, a wealthy mother for her daughter's education. Actually paid money to have the best student transfer schools, Lu Xian, due to the cold attitude of her brothers, returned home feeling gloomy. Her mother saw this and asked, "What's wrong? You look like you've lost your soul. Were you bullied at the company?" Lu Xia buried her head in a pillow and said softly, "No, it's not that," her mother asked again. "Then did something happen at school?" Then angrily said, "Is it that person bullying you again?" Lu Xia, with tears in her eyes, choked up and said, "Mom, please don't ask." Her mother immediately understood and angrily slammed her water glass on the table, gritting her teeth. She said that wild girl is nothing but bad luck. Not only did she force your grandmother back to her hometown, but now she's harming you at school. As she spoke, she picked up her phone to make a call. "I'm going to ask the Huo family today how they're raising their daughter," seeing her mother getting serious. Lu Xia, feeling guilty, quickly stopped her anxiously. She said, "Mom, I really don't have any problems. There's no need to get angry over someone unrelated." Then she snatched her mother's phone away. Her mother angrily said, "You're just too kind." "Oh, Yao Yao, there's a package for you. Don't know what it is, but it's quite heavy. Your dad brought it in for you, almost broke his back. You don't even dare to speak up when you're bullied." But Lu Xia knew very well that she had always been the one causing trouble. Seeing her daughter so insistent, her mother didn't want to affect Lu Xia's mood. As the competition exam was tomorrow, she could only think of another way. The next day, the international competition began as scheduled. Just as Hu Yao's parents had dropped their daughter off at the exam venue, they were stopped by a person dressed in formal attire. "Our madam would like to invite you both to sit at the coffee shop." Hu Yao's parents were confused. The person added, "It's regarding Miss Hu Yao." When they arrived at the coffee shop, they saw Lu's mother with her arms crossed, arrogantly telling the person, "Old John, go tell the manager here not to let other customers disturb us." The person obediently replied, "Yes, madam." This scene in Mrs. Hu's eyes was simply petty mischief, she thought. "I know so many wealthy female friends, but I've never seen one so exaggerated." While Lu's mother, seeing Mrs. Hu arrive at this high-end coffee shop in her own poor performance, maintained a straight face. She couldn't help but think clearly from a poor family, yet pretending to have upper-class manners, so she sat formally at the table and said coldly, "Please, sit down, order whatever you'd like to drink." But Mrs. Huo impatiently said, "Our two families have no need for small talk, get to the point." Lu's mother leisurely picked up her coffee and slowly said, "I hope you'll transfer Hu Yao to another school. I don't want anyone bothering our Sha at school. Mrs. Hewitt was shocked upon hearing this. Lou's mother continued, after all, your daughter's grades aren't good. She can't keep up at first high anyway. It's better to choose a school that suits her. It won't hurt the child's self-esteem that way. At this point, Mrs. Hewitt was extremely embarrassed. You're saying the top student in the school has poor grades? Your brain must be malfunctioning. Before Mrs. Hewitt could speak, Lou's mother took out a check for $5 million smugly, she said. Huo Yao knew it was his medicine-making stuff. He picked it up and carried it upstairs, seeing him carry it so easily. This should be enough, right? Please keep your daughter in check and don't get involved with our Liu family anymore. Upon hearing this, Mrs. Huo's first thought was $5 million and you dared to brag? A closet full of clothes would cost more than that. Then she calmly said, after all this talk, I just want to know how exactly did my daughter bully Sha Lu's mother avoided eye contact and impatiently said, go ask your daughter yourself. Mrs. Hu was stared at her and said, so you don't actually know either. Do you? Then she picked up the check and said, I'm sorry, but our daughter won't be transferring schools. She then tore up the check with a look of disdain. She said, this small amount of money isn't even enough to buy toys for my daughter to throw away. It's truly embarrassing as she spoke. She threw the torn pieces of the check into the air and turned to say, husband, let's go home. Throughout all of this, Mr. Huo hadn't said a word. Perhaps he was too amused to react in the circle of rich second-generation kids. Li Yu perfectly demonstrated what it means to embarrass one's father, to thank Huo Yao for the calming incense she sent. He actually stole his father's prized Da Hong Pao tea, which had been treasured for decades, and gave it to Huo Yao. He probably didn't know the value of this tea. After receiving it, she shyly said, thank you, you look much better now. Li Yu, reluctantly looking at the tea, said with a heavy heart, it's all thanks to your good incense. At this moment, the clueless assistant chimed in, Miss Hugh, you must be close with that shop owner, right? When I placed an order, the owner gave me a big discount. Huo Yao was confused and casually said, what shop owner? She then looked at Min Yu, who was staring straight ahead, awkwardly scratching his head. He thought to himself, this naive assistant is driving me crazy. How could such high-quality incense be available for purchase? I even stole the old man's tea to give to her. Isn't that obvious enough? But the assistant still had no clue and continued smiling, saying, you know, the shop owner who sells incense that you introduced. The parents couldn't help but wonder if Dad was a bit weak. Old Huo looks like you need to take that health supplement your daughter gave you. Hearing this, Huo Yao immediately understood. She never expected him to take it seriously. She then asked, so how much did you buy? The assistant proudly said, I bought it all, cleared out his entire shop. At this point, the two people in the back exchanged an awkward glance, seemingly not wanting to shatter the assistant's innocence. Huo Yao could only slowly say, oh, I see. Fortunately, Min Yu cleared his throat to ease the awkwardness. Then he said, Huo, classmate, what would you like to eat tonight? Might treat? Hearing there was a good meal in store, she wasn't picky and excitedly said, as long as it's a feast, anything is fine. So Min Yu took her to a private kitchen called Yao Shangyuan, walking through the spacious hall. Min Yu explained, this restaurant specializes in medicinal cuisine. The clientele is quite special, so they don't accept unfamiliar customers or ladling a bowl of medicinal cuisine. I couldn't help but sigh, there are so few people who can make medicinal cuisine nowadays. Soon, a person wearing an ancient-style robe brought a steamer basket. He then took out the pastries inside. Politely, he said to Min Yu, young Master Min, the old master heard you were coming. He personally cooked a new medicinal dish he developed for you. However, it will take some time. Please enjoy some appetizers first. Seeing these exquisite pastries, I inadvertently said, apricot crisp cake nourishes yin and moistens dryness. It's very suitable for this season. Then I took a piece and put it in my mouth. It melted instantly, sweet but not astringent. It was really delicious. The man in the robe was surprised. He didn't expect this young girl to recognize apricot crisp cake. Then she pointed to another pastry and asked, do you know what this is called? Huo Yao picked it up and took a bite. Confidently, she said, this is jade dew paste. But before she finished speaking, she threw it back on the plate and said, this is a failed product. Huo Yao is too direct. Her birth parents turned out to be true super rich. That migraine medicine she gave me was very effective. Isn't she? Finding fault right after tasting, what will happen next? This elegant and classic medicinal cuisine restaurant doesn't serve ordinary people, but after just one bite. Huo Yao threw the delicate pastry back onto the plate. She directly said this is a failed product. The waiter looked nervous after hearing this, thinking this young girl was here to cause trouble, but Huo Yao continued, the kudzu root and thyme wafen weren't roasted dry enough, causing the pastry to lose its original texture and efficacy. Her somewhat professional words stunned the waiter, who thought she can even taste such subtle details. She must be an expert, so he tried to smooth things over. Miss, do you have experience in medicinal cuisine? She calmly replied. No, my family elders used to make it. This simple answer made the waiter tense up. A family that could make such pastries must be extraordinary. He can only retreat for now. Turning around, he bumped into the honorary assistant. The assistant, seeing the freshly served pastries about to be taken away, picked up a piece and put it directly in her mouth. After eating heartily, she said contentedly, these pastries are really delicious. The waiter beside her had a strange look on his face, not knowing whether to say they were good or not. The assistant suddenly felt as if she had been offended by the waiter's gaze, but had no proof. The assistant entered the private room and found Huo Yao doing homework. She politely said, Miss Huo, your handwriting is beautiful, but seeing Huo Yao's answering speed, she secretly laughed. Indeed, underachievers are the same everywhere. I used to fill in answers randomly just as quickly. I really don't want to discourage the naive young assistant. People are different. You've somewhat misunderstood this young underachiever. Dad was quite speechless. It's not that I'm weak, it really was heavy. At dinner time, the older brother came home. At this moment, Huo Yao suddenly put down her pen because she smelled a unique food aroma. Sure enough, the waiter carefully brought in a dish. Huo Yao thought, just from the smell, she could tell it contained many precious medicinal ingredients. The waiter, seeing Huo Yao's mouth-watering expression, proudly said, this is a new medicinal dish developed by the old master. Snow Lotus Golden Turtle Soup. It has the effects of invigorating the spleen, promoting appetite, and regulating qi deficiency. Huo Yao eagerly tasted a spoonful. Li Yu even picked up the bowl to drink directly. Huo Yao couldn't help but praise, this soup is good. The medicinal flavor is well balanced and the cooking time is just right, worthy of being a medicinal cuisine. Just as the waiter was about to feel proud, Huo Yao suddenly said, if you added a bit of the most common urine, this soup would be perfect. The waiter's face immediately fell. He thought, this is the result of months of research by the old master. What does a young girl like you know? I thought you were knowledgeable, but now it seems you're just nitpicking. Just as the waiter was about to retort, the old master suddenly appeared and calmly asked, you just mentioned urine. Why, surprised that the old master had been alerted, she explained, urine is cool in nature and can balance the warm energy between the other herbs and the golden turtle. The combination of medicinal ingredients emphasizes medicinal integration. Even common ingredients, when properly combined, can maximize their inherent effects. The old master kept muttering medicinal integration after hearing this. The waiter said, you're just a young girl. What do you know about combining medicinal ingredients? The old master has studied medicine for years. How can an ignorant child like you criticize so casually? This was the first time seeing Big Brother since picking him up at the airport. Huo Yao couldn't help but wonder if he would accept her as a sister. At this moment, Big Brother took the initiative and said, sister, I heard you're going to #1 high school. Hearing this, Huo Yao angrily said, if an old traditional Chinese medicine doctor were criticizing you now, would you think it makes sense? What matters in learning his ability, not age. The waiter was left speechless by Huo Yao's retort and could only say, you're just quibbling. At this moment, Min Yu slammed her bowl on the table angrily and said, so young people have no right to speak. Seeing this, the waiter realized he had been impulsive. Offending this young girl was one thing, but he couldn't afford to offend young mastermen in front of him. He reluctantly bowed and apologized. The old master's hand holding the spoon suddenly tightened. He said angrily, I've wasted 60 years studying medicine, yet I've been trapped in a misconception. I thought only dishes cooked with precious medicinal ingredients deserved to be called medicinal cuisine. How foolish I've been, how foolish. So the old master bowed deeply to Huo Yao and sincerely said, young lady, thank you for awakening me from my dream. The waiter, seeing this, was shocked to the point of questioning reality as the heir to a century-old medicinal cuisine family. He was bowing in gratitude to a young girl. All because of Huo Yao's casual remark, it made the old master, who had spent his life studying medicine, Suddenly realize perhaps this is the spirit of craftsmanship, dedicating one's entire life to a single pursuit. Huo Yao was overwhelmed and hurriedly explained that it was just a casual comment, unworthy of the old master's grand gesture, but in the old master's eyes, Huo Yao isn't a child. He's a master in the field of pharmacology. What he said is correct. The key to combining medicinal herbs is pharmacological integration. Blindly pursuing expensive herbs is actually putting the cart before the horse. The old man couldn't help but sigh. Realizing he had indeed grown old and narrow-minded, he then looked at the waiter beside him, feeling ashamed of his earlier rashness. He asked him to sincerely apologize to Hayao. He couldn't believe that after so many years, his disciples still lacked the ability to discern. At this moment, the disciples still didn't understand, thinking Master Yi was making a mountain out of a molehill. Even for Mi Shao's sake, it wasn't necessary to be so formal. Despite his thoughts, he reluctantly apologized due to his master's orders. Huo Yao could certainly see through this, but he didn't pursue the matter. After all, people's perceptions are limited. Seeing this, Master Yi felt frustrated with his disciples' lack of progress. Huo Yao replied, "Yes, I'm registering tomorrow." Big Brother immediately said, "Then I'll take you tomorrow. Sha is also at number 1 high, and I promised to take her for the new semester too." He sent him away to serve the dishes, then said kindly, "My outer disciple lacks experience. I apologize for the embarrassment." It must be said that Master Yi handled the situation very tactfully. Then Master Yi directly expressed his intentions. He wanted to take Huo Yao as his disciple. He saw that Huo Yao had a great talent for pharmacology and was very suitable to be a medicinal chef. After hearing this, Huo Yao playfully shook his head, politely declining. At this moment, the assistant beside him cast an envious glance. He told Huo Yao that the Bai family was a century-old medicinal cuisine family, holding a pivotal position in the field of medicinal cuisine. Master Bai had never taken any disciples before, and he hoped Huo Yao would cherish this opportunity, but Huo Yao only wanted to live an ordinary life, so he declined again, saying he wasn't interested. Master Bai was a bit disappointed upon hearing this, but he didn't force Hayao. He said Hayao could come any time if he became interested in the future. Min Yu quickly smoothed things over, thanking Master Bai for his kindness on Hayao's behalf. It was precisely this action from Min Yu that further convinced Master Bai that Hayao was no ordinary person, because he had never seen young mastermen protect someone like this before. So he politely said, "Young mastermen, you're too kind. Your friend is naturally a friend of our family." Then he left, as Huo Yao and his companions were about to leave after finishing their meal. A waiter came running with a card, saying Master Bai had specifically instructed to give it to them. Li Yu told Huo Yao that this card was very useful. Huo Yao asked curiously, "Does this card offer discounts?" "You're not familiar with number 1 high and you'll have Sha there." After Big Brother finished, Huo Yao thought about that scheming girl. He didn't want to have much interaction with her. Li Yu explained awkwardly that it could be understood that way. The assistant beside them, seeing their train of thought, showed a disdainful expression. That was clearly a prestigious identity card. How did it become a discount card to them? Later, the disciple asked his master confusedly why he gave such a valuable token to a young girl. Master Yi replied thoughtfully, "It's always good to make a new friend," but the disciple thought his master had truly become senile. How powerful could a 17 or 18-year-old girl be? Look at him, just an outer disciple with such a narrow perspective and vision. Is your father so confident about having a teenager going through puberty? Huo was just a bit late coming home from dinner with Li Yu, but her parents had already been waiting outside for who knows how long, finally seeing Hayao returned. They noticed she was dropped off by a luxury car. Mom pretended to casually crouch down, peering carefully into the car. Sure enough, she saw it was a young man, seeing her mom's unusual behavior. Hayao immediately understood, so she thanked Min Yu and let him go home. Watching the departing car, her parents were confused, not having figured out the situation before he left. So Mom tentatively said, "Why didn't you invite your friend up for a bit?" not understanding her meaning. Huo Yao explained it was too late and not convenient. Mom pressed on, "I saw it was a young man, wasn't it?" realizing she wouldn't be able to avoid explaining tonight. Huo Yao had to say, "He was my former tutor. Back in our hometown when my grades weren't good, he helped me a lot. Hearing he was a tutor, Mom finally felt relieved. She immediately cheered up, not forgetting to complain, "Why didn't you say so earlier? There's nothing inconvenient about that. We should have properly thanked him." Huo Yao thought she had cleared things up with Mom, but her cone and leg dad had noticed something amiss. He put down his chopsticks and said, "No need, I can go by myself." Then he went upstairs. That car just now, although it was only a common model worth a few million, had a special consecutive number plate, and it was a gold plate. This tutor must have quite a background also. How would a tutor from their hometown be here? All these questions made Dad deeply worried. Back home, Hu Yao gave the tea Mi Li had given her to her dad. Dad happily accepted the tea, praising his little cotton jacket for being so filial. As he looked at the tea in his hands, he almost dropped it in shock. No way, it was actually premium Dehung Pao. Seeing her dad's incredulous expression, Huo Yao asked curiously. Dad's smile stiffened as he asked, "Where did you buy this tea?" Huo Yao explained it was a gift from a friend. Dad was startled and urgently asked, "How? Was it from that tutor of yours?" Huo Yao replied confusedly, "Yes, the long Jing tea last time was also from him." Dad quickly followed up, "No, daughter, isn't he your tutor? Why would he give such expensive tea? You should know, this premium de Hongpao is a collector's item I can't even buy with money." Hearing this, Huo Yao felt very awkward. She really didn't know the tea was so expensive, but her own sleep-eating incense was also priceless. She could only pretend to be naive and explain, "I gave him a handmade sandalwood incense before, maybe he thought it was useful." Hearing this far-fetched reason, her father was even more convinced of his suspicions. "My silly daughter, no matter how good the sandalwood incense is, it can't compare to the price of this premium Dahong Pal. That tutor definitely has ulterior motives. This is great. Now the old father will have insomnia. But how could he know? Some sandalwood incense raw materials alone cost 320, and even more precious is the daughter's incense-making technique. The old father is really worried sick for his daughter. If there were levels for sister complexes, what level would second brother? This sister doting maniac be just gone abroad for 2 days, and he demands to see his sister as soon as he returns. Huo Yao had to go to the airport to pick him up. When second brother saw his sister, he quickly stepped forward, excitedly stroking her head, feeling sorry that she had been standing waiting for so long. However, Huo Yao avoided second brother and greeted fourth brother and the assistant behind him. The assistant was extremely happy to hear Huo Yao call her by name. Big brother noticed Wu Yao's unhappiness. Is he angry because I'm taking Sha too? Has he been like this since he came back? You shouldn't spoil him. Although fourth brother was wearing a mask, he couldn't hide his tired appearance. He didn't expect his sister to come pick them up. Seeing this, second brother pulled Huo Yao close and said awkwardly, all right, let's go quickly. The airport is crowded. We can talk more at home." I could smell the sourness from 80 meters away. He was clearly jealous. Just because Haya would rather greet the assistant than him. At the parking lot, second brother wanted to sit with Haya but found that fourth brother had already occupied the seat next to their sister. He complained about being careless again and had to reluctantly sit in the front passenger seat, silently cursing fourth brother for being such a schemer. After getting in the car, fourth brother took off his mask. He wanted to talk to Hu Xiao but didn't know what topics she liked. At this moment, Hu Xiao looked at fourth brother and noticed his pale face, dark circles under his eyes, and red spots on his forehead. There was also a tourniquet mark on his hand from an IV. So she asked with concern if fourth brother was sick. Fourth brother didn't know how to explain, but luckily second brother came to the rescue, saying fourth brother is just tired from the flight. Hu Yao half believed it and could only advise fourth brother to rest well at home. Fourth brother didn't explain further and just said, "Okay, I got it," but in his heart, he knew that no amount of rest would help him recover. After the car arrived home, fourth brother was about to take his luggage, but Wei Yao suddenly grabbed his wrist. As fourth brother was confused, Wei Yao widened her eyes awkwardly and said, "Sorry, I grabbed the wrong thing." As soon as he finished, Mom slammed the table and scolded loudly. "Yao Yao has a great temper, you little brat, don't you dare have prejudices against him." Then pulled the suitcase and walked ahead. Fourth brother followed behind, mumbling, "Thank you, little sister. Actually, I could have managed it myself." In contrast, second brother left aside was completely bewildered. He only felt the biting cold wind and a sense of loneliness washed over him. His mind kept doubting, "Am I really their brother, back home?" Mom and Dad had been waiting for a long time. Mom saw that fourth son had lost weight again and looked in poor spirits. and couldn't help but feel sorry that he hadn't taken good care of himself. Fourth brother, afraid of worrying mom, said it was just from the flight, but this couldn't fool Hu. Oh yeah. The reason she grabbed fourth brother's wrist earlier was to check his pulse. Now she knew that fourth brother's body had suffered trauma, but that wasn't the main issue. Fourth brother's pulse had other problems. Anxious, Hu Oh Yao went straight to her room. She logged into a mysterious pharmaceutical group chat and asked if anyone had recently sold Wu Yu. Because she suspected fourth brother had been poisoned with it, who would research such a poison? It has no effect on ordinary people, only triggering toxicity in those who have suffered neurological trauma once triggered. The toxin spreads like vines, rapidly eroding the body's neurons. In the early stages, the poisoned person shows intermittent mania. With dark shadows of the temples in the middle and late stages, the poisoned person rapidly loses weight and develops unexplained patchy red rashes on the body. All these symptoms had appeared on fourth brother, who would harbor such strong hatred towards him. This person wants to turn fourth brother into a complete invalid. Big brother didn't expect mom to suddenly get angry. He had to admit his mistake. The next day, when Wei Yao came downstairs and saw fourth brother, she happily greeted him. Although fourth brother smiled back, Hu Oh Yao could clearly see he wasn't in good condition. So Hu Oh Yao handed a bottle of medicine to fourth brother. As fourth brother was puzzled, their father chimed in, "It's a great tonic. This is your sister's welcome gift for everyone since she came back. I'm telling you, the effects are amazing. Just look at your old man's robust health." As he said this, he excitedly demonstrated, but accidentally knocked over an antique vase on the redwood cabinet. Their father, heartbroken, exclaimed, "Oh no, my limited edition blue and white porcelain. This was used by the Qin Emperor's great-grandmother. I wanted to flatter my daughter, but ended up losing 100 million." Li Yu looked at the medicine in his hand with furrowed brows, thinking to himself, no matter how effective it is, my injury is in the spine. What use is a kidney tonic to me? Hu Oh Yao seemed to sense fourth brother's worry. So she cleared her throat and said mischievously, "Don't overthink it, your bottle is different from dad's. This is you seen one, it's very effective in clearing internal sediment and repairing damaged body functions." Fourth brother just unconsciously said, "Oh," upon hearing this. Meanwhile, their father, still heartbroken over the porcelain, was shocked. He couldn't help but think, toxin repair, body function repair, what is my daughter saying? It sounds just like a health product sales pitch. Similarly, fourth brother was also surprised. How did his sister know about his injury? Wei Yao didn't explain further. She happily said, "Fourth brother, trust me, you must take this. 1 pill every 3 days." Don't forget, fourth brother tightly clutched the bottle of medicine, but his heart grew heavier. He only said, "Good little sister," but in his heart, he knew his sister meant well, but he knew his body was destined to never fully recover, no matter what he took. But how could he know that this frail little sister before him was actually a top expert in the world of medicine? Perhaps what the entire medical community found incurable was just a minor issue for her. When the eldest was looked down upon by the wealthy lady, he felt he had led you down the most. He didn't want to provoke mom after going out. Although their family conditions were average, he believed the children shouldn't suffer. To ensure Hu Oh Yao had face at school, he decided his daughter shouldn't take the bus anymore. So he mysteriously brought his daughter to the garage. Although Hu Yao was confused, she could see her father was particularly happy today. As he spoke, her father led her to an object covered with red cloth. Excitedly, he told his daughter to unveil it, saying there was a surprise. Hu Yao calmly asked, "Did you get a new car?" Her father hadn't expected his daughter to guess so quickly. Slightly embarrassed, he said, "Yes, the old car was too old. We've had it for over a year. The company just gave out quarterly bonuses, so I went ahead and bought a new one." He then urged his daughter to quickly unveil the new car to see how it looked. Hu Oh Yao cooperatively lifted the red cloth. What met her eyes was a top-of-the-line Rolls-Royce. In a not-too-flashy nouveau rich gold, it was truly an unpretentious car. Hu Yao asked in surprise, "Dad, is your bonus really that high?" Her father panicked a bit at this question. He couldn't tell her the car cost over 10 million. What if it scared her? So he smiled and said, "It's all right, though the car looks luxurious. It's actually not expensive, just 1 million or so." We looked at the golden goddess hood ornament. Lost in thought, hey. A top-spec Rolls-Royce for 1 million? This old man sure knows how to bluff. Seeing Wea's incredulous expression, her father nervously urged, "Oh my, we're running late, get in the car, I'll drive you to school." However, when her father drove near the school, Huo asked him to stop. Her father reluctantly said, "I can drop you off at the school gate." Huo quickly refused. "No need, Dad. Really, you can go back now." Her four brothers were all elites in various fields. The eldest was a domineering CEO of a listed company. Big brother called Lu Shaw. After getting out of the car, Huo felt relieved. She thought to herself, what a joke with such a flashy car. I'd be stared at like a monkey if he drove me to the school gate. Her father could only reluctantly say goodbye to his daughter as luck would have it. Lu Shaw's private car just passed by. When the driver saw the luxury car by the roadside, he couldn't help but remark that this family must be extraordinary. Lu Sha, seeing Hu Yao walking, immediately asked the driver to stop. She called out loudly to Hu Yao. Out of nowhere, she said, "Before the competition results are out, I advise you to withdraw from the contest." Then she left abruptly. Hu Yao was puzzled. She suddenly thought, could this be related to the anonymous package she received a couple of days ago when she opened it? She found it contained study materials for this national competition. After Huo Yang's extensive inquiries, it was discovered that the sender was Lu Zia's new assistant. Could someone be setting Huo Yang up? It's hard to believe that the principal of this century-old school would do such a thing, colluding with the English teacher to trap Huo Yang as a top student. Huo Yao had her share of troubles. The green tea bitch Lu Zia kept causing problems for her. This time, she even threatened Huo Yao to withdraw from the international competition. Huo Yao didn't let her off easy, retorting, "Who do you think you are?" This left Lu Zia losing her composure. Huo Yao moved closer to Lu Zia, sneering, "Don't be so bored as to try and get my attention. I have zero interest in you." It turned out that Big Brother thought Hu Xiaoping's grades couldn't possibly get into number one high and must be an admission notice bought by Dad. So he wanted Lu Xia to take care of him more. With that, she turned and left, leaving Lu Zia bewildered just as Huo Yao arrived at the classroom. She was hurriedly called away by the English teacher. Arriving at the office, Huo Yao was nervous. Remembering the last time she was called in was due to failing Chinese. She wondered if she had offended the English teacher this time, but that shouldn't be the case. She always scored full marks. The English teacher, noticing Huo Yao's worry, smiled and said, "Don't be nervous. I called you here for some good news. It's like this, the education department is organizing an English-speaking competition. Our school only has 5 spots. You have the best English grades in our class, so I'd like to recommend you." Hearing this, Huo Yao became even more nervous. It reminded her of the last time the principal tricked her into participating in the national knowledge competition. If she hadn't scored full marks, she would have been expelled by the vice principal. She quickly explained, "Teacher, I just have good grades, but my speaking is really poor." The teacher looked surprised and said, "That can't be right. How could your speaking be poor? The principal specifically named you." Wei Yao was instantly furious. It was that old man again, trying to set her up again. Understanding the situation, Huo Yao began to earnestly explain to the teacher, "My speaking really isn't good. If I mess it up, the principal might expel me. I don't want to leave you and my classmates." After hearing this, Lu Sha said coquettishly, "Don't worry, Big Brother, I'll take good care of Yao Yao." She didn't forget to mock, "Big Brother, don't worry, no matter who helped him get the admission notice. As long as it's through official channels, he can enroll after hanging up." Little did she know the upright principal was eavesdropping at the door. Hearing Huo Yao speak about him this way, he began to doubt himself. How had he become someone who acted without discernment? So the principal walked in directly. With a serious face, he asked, "Why don't you want to participate in the competition?" Huo Yao explained her speaking was too poor. The principal, maintaining his composure, simply said, "Oh, I see. I also wanted to say that this competition has a prize of 100 yuan. Would you be interested, since that's the case?" Before the principal could finish, Hayao confidently interrupted, "Teacher, I actually think my spoken English has improved. Let's sign up then. The money doesn't matter, it's just for the opportunity to practice." The principal's reverse psychology directly won over Hayao. He couldn't help but reveal a satisfied yet cunning smile. Although Huo Yao voluntarily fell into the trap, she complained inwardly that this old man was very crafty, manipulating people so easily. The principal said, "Then it's decided," and left arrogantly with his hands behind his back. The English teacher stood there dumbfounded. Unable to react, feeling that something wasn't quite right. Could the entertainment industry really be this dark? He was once the most popular rock idol Tian Tanzi Tang, but due to an accident, he suffered spinal nerve damage, preventing him from engaging in strenuous activities. Fortunately, the news of Huo Zhang's injury was kept under wraps, the manager. Tan Yu tried everything to treat him, but top doctors both domestically and internationally were at a loss. The worst happened when someone leaked the news of Huo Chang's injury. If the news were confirmed, the company would surely act against him. The strong-willed Huo Chang, unable to accept the situation, began to self-destruct, but Tan Yu kept insisting, "You just can't dance, but you can still sing. We still have a chance." He knew that Huo Zhang's talent for composing lyrics and music was unmatched. Big Brother let out a long sigh. Then he picked up his phone and searched how to get along with a rebellious sister. This older brother was really worried about his sister, but would Luz Shaw, whom Big Brother trusted, really help him? Tang Yu reluctantly questioned Huo Shang. "At a time like this, can you put aside your pride? Do you really want other artists to replace you?" Just then, a series of urgent knocks came from the door. Hong Yu had warned Xiao not to say anything rash. "I'll handle the company for you." When Hong Yu opened the door, he found it was his nemesis. "Jinsu Yuan," Hong Yu impatiently said, "what are you doing here?" Jinsu Yuan walked straight into the room and arrogantly said, "Close the door. Let's talk." Hong Yu sensed something was amiss from his attitude. Sure enough, after Jin Sayuan sat down, he said sarcastically, "Oh, what a pity, such a promising future about to be ruined. You all don't seem worried at all." Hong Yu was very annoyed. "If you have something to say, just say it, stop putting on airs." Jin Sayuan revealed a smug expression. "Now who doesn't know that Hu Xing is injured and can no longer perform on stage? I came here out of goodwill to check on Pang Yu. Why are you so agitated?" Pang Yu knew very well that Jin Sayuan had always been suppressed by him and was very resentful. Now that Hu Xing was in trouble, he immediately came to kick him while he was down, so with arms crossed. He said nonchalantly, "It just shows how popular our Shan is. Jealousy makes people unrecognizable. All kinds of rumors are spreading." Hearing this, Jin Sayuan stood up angrily. "Tan Yu, you don't need to pretend. Everyone knows whether Wu Shan is injured or not." He then changed his tone. "Considering we're colleagues, I can help you cover this up, and I'll even settle all the rumors in the company for you." Hong Yu remained calm upon hearing this. Jin Su-yuan slowly continued. "As long as Hu Shan gives up his position as the band leader, Hong Yu immediately became angry. Keep dreaming." Jin Su-yuan didn't get angry. The more agitated Hong Yu was, the more it showed he cared, and taking away what he cared about most was his goal. "Anyway, your artist is already in this state. Rather than letting the company remove him, it's better to step down voluntarily. At least save some face for yourself. Come back and give this stepmother a slap." He finished speaking and stood up to leave. "Think it over. Contact me when you've made up your mind. The offer won't last forever." This infuriated Tom Yu. How dare this backstabbing dog make such a demand? They were once the hottest boy band partners, vowing to conquer the world together. But when Shan Nan learned that Wu Shan had concealed his serious illness, not only did he not care, but he tried to take advantage of the situation, using it to force Wu Shan to give up his position as leader. This made Wu Shan feel the coldness of the world that was once his partner, but ultimately couldn't resist the temptation of profit. The only solution now was to quickly find a treatment to completely resolve the problems they faced, but this was easier said than done. Both domestic and international renowned doctors were at a loss. The manager, Tang Yu, placed his last hope on the profound Chinese medicine. They had to try even if there was just a glimmer of hope. Hong Yu could only comfort Hu Xian, telling him to rest well during this time and leave the company matters to him. Hu Shang looked at Tang Yu before him, perhaps the only person in the company truly helping him, and sincerely said, "Brother Tang, thank you." Just as Hu Shang was turning to leave, Tang Yu was attracted by the delicate bottle in Hu Zhang's hand. He curiously asked, "What's that bottle? It looks quite nice." Hu Shang immediately looked confused. "This is a face cream my sister gave me. Not only does it look good, but what's inside is also special. She said it can detoxify and repair body damage. See how much my sister cares for me." Feng Yu took the bottle and poured out a pill. It looked like Chinese medicine, so he said, "I'll take this one. I'll have a Chinese doctor take a look to see if it's suitable for you to take." Feng Yu thought that his sister was indeed unique, giving such an unusual gift. Feng Yu, intrigued, asked, "By the way, is our sister interested in joining the entertainment industry with her looks?" Before Pan Yu could finish, Hu Shang interrupted seriously. My sister's not interested, he thought to himself. Thanks for the concern, but who said you could call her sister? I see you as a good brother, but you're eyeing my sister? With that, he slammed the door shut and left, leaving Tan Yu standing there dumbfounded. If she's not interested, that's fine. Young New Main passed the transfer exam with full marks and could have transferred to the rocket class. But she told the homeroom teacher that Hu Yao was admitted through the back door because her biological daughter was in the rocket class. Why get angry at me at dusk? Hu Yao returned home from school from afar. She saw someone crouching at the doorstep as she approached. She realized it was her fourth brother, puzzled. She asked, "Fourth brother, why aren't you inside?" Seeing his sister, Hu Shang looked embarrassed. They changed the locks. I don't have the new key. The housekeeper doesn't seem to be home either. He couldn't help but complain earlier. I called Dad saying I'd move back, and he actually told me the house was too small to accommodate so many people. Then he just hung up. Now they've changed the locks. This really upset Hu Shang. Although the house was only 800 square meters, it was still considered a villa. Something felt off. Hu Yao, not knowing how to explain, quickly changed the subject. Fourth brother, is your room the first one on the left on the second floor? Hu Shang nodded instinctively. Hu Yao then offered to take his luggage upstairs. By the time Hu Xun realized, Hu Yao had already disappeared. He felt guilty for troubling his sister with such a small task, exclusive reveal of the celebrity fourth brother's unknown side. This cool and handsome young man was so awkward in front of his sister. It was his first time being alone with her, and he didn't know how to act. Seeing this, Hu Yao took the initiative and said, "Fourth brother, what would you like for dinner? I'll make something simple." Hu Shang, like a shy new bride, managed to stammer out twice, "Anything is fine." Just as Hu Yao was about to start cooking, their father called. He apologetically said there was a script. The housekeeper had taken the day off, and he had already ordered dinner to be delivered soon. Hu Yao obediently said she understood. Their father, still worried, reminded Hu Yao to be careful alone at home and not to open the door for anyone. Hu Yao reassured him, saying, "Don't worry, fourth brother is here too." Unexpectedly, their father's voice came through the phone, saying, "Why hasn't he left yet?"